Hello, well, I think we're just waiting for a few more people to come in, but I think we'll get started because we've got quite a lot to get through today. Just going to bring our first slides up so that I can get started. But welcome and thank you for joining us today. We're the Essex ActivAte team, and today we're hosting a webinar so that we can give you a bit more about what we think is a really exciting project that we are lucky to be delivering on behalf of Essex County Council and the Department of Education. We're going to be giving you quite a bit of information. There is a question and answer button at the option at the bottom of your screen, so any questions as we go along, please just stick them in there, or any comments, and what we'll do, one of our team members will be collating it as we go along, and at the end we will answer as a team those key questions. So don't wait till the end to get your questions in there. If something comes up as we're talking through the slides, then please do put them in there. I'm hoping I know quite a few of you that are on here today, but also that there are going to be a number of new partners. So I'll just give a brief introduction. My name's Louise Voice, and I lead the Sport for Development work at Active Essex. And basically what that means is that we use sport and physical activity to engage and support some of the most vulnerable and at-risk groups across the county. For the past 2 years, we have been leading the holiday hunger programme, which obviously aims to tackle holiday hunger and also inactivity across Essex. And we've delivered that with a number of locally trusted organisations. I'm really pleased that the Department for Education and Essex County Council have recognised this hard work, not just of our team, but those locally trusted organisations that are out there doing the doing, engaging and supporting these young people and families. And the Department for Education have extended their holiday activity and food programme across the county. Previously, they've just piloted it in 9 areas, but due to COVID, it's been extended. So we have received funding so that we can deliver face-to-face holiday activity and food clubs across the Easter, summer and Christmas holidays, and this is across the whole county. And there are also programmes taking place in Thurrock and Southend and all surrounding counties. It's a targeted programme for school-aged young people that are eligible for benefits-based free school meals. So that's not just those Key Stage 1 children who get those free school meals because of their age. It's a really targeted approach to ensure that young people who rely on those hot meals while they're at school don't go without during the holidays just because they're not at school. And actually, in addition to this, building on the great work of Active Essex last summer on the Working Families programme, Essex County Council have recognised that there's a real need for some families, particularly over the last 18 months and the struggles that some of these families have been going through and the way that their income has been impacted. But what we also want to do is provide additional funding and extend the programme so that we also provide exactly the same support for those working families who are just about managing and struggling financially. So there are a number of requirements that the Department for Education say that we need to deliver for the holiday activity and food programme. You can see we've called it the Essex ActivAte programme, and you'll see this logo as we go through and on lots of our different marketing materials. And Alexa will go into a bit more detail about what the exact requirements mean and what we need from our partners to deliver. But basically, we need to deliver with this funding at least 4 hours per day for 4 days per week for 4 weeks of the summer programme. So today we're going to particularly focus on that summer programme. However, ECC recognise and have given us funding to actually extend that. We want to, our aim is to deliver for 5 days a week for the 5 full weeks of the summer holiday for at least 4 hours a day. Next slide, please. Now here we've just outlined what the key parts to the Essex ActivAte programme are. Again, you'll meet the rest of the team in a minute. We've got a great team at Essex ActivAte that includes 4 locality officers, a comms lead and a business support lead. And they'll give you a little bit more detail about this, but basically we are required and directed by the Department for Education that every single holiday activity and food club provides fun, physical activity. All the activities must be free. We also need to include enrichment activities. So Emma will tell you a little bit more about what we're looking for from these enrichment activities and what we're hoping the young people will benefit from. Also, every single young person attending these clubs needs to receive a healthy, nutritious meal, where possible hot. We also need to provide that nutritional education for the young people, but also for the wider family, and that can be done in various ways. We also need to provide mentoring support for the whole family. And actually what we're really keen to do is we know there's some amazing organisations out there already working with these families and delivering this work. So we want to build on a network of locally trusted organisations who are out there doing this day in, day out and ensuring that they've got the right support to be able to deliver this as one of our partners. Actually, more importantly, what we want to do is, at the minute, we know we have funding for Easter, summer and Christmas this year. Hopefully there will be future funding, but that isn't guaranteed. So if we only have this 12 weeks funding, what's really important to us at Essex County Council and Active Essex is that we create a real legacy for these young people and families, that they take something away from it, that we provide them with the knowledge and skills that means maybe that they can make their lives just that little bit better and they're not always dependent on holiday hunger clubs like they may have been in the past. We know we've probably got partners here who can and want to and able to deliver a whole programme that includes all of that, and that's great. But actually we recognise that there are probably some partners on here today that are experts in certain aspects of that. Maybe there's partners who are able to deliver the family support or just the physical activity or the healthy part, and that's fine. And we're still really encouraging you to get involved in some way, because we can bring those networks together to ensure that Essex has really got a high quality programme. So we're really keen to work with as many people as we can do today, and build, like I said, on our network of locally trusted organisations, so that as a team, along with our partners through Essex ActivAte, we can provide that real high quality and make our Essex programme best practice. Like I said, today we're focusing on summer, but we have just completed a really successful Easter programme. It was scaled back, and it had to be scaled back because of COVID restrictions that were in place. And I just wanted to share with you a bit of information. But before I do that, I just want to give you a quick taster of some of the stuff that was delivered by showing you a video. Let's hope that this works and our Wi-Fi stays strong. Makes me smile every time I watch that, and we're really proud to have worked with a range of partners over Easter in order to provide that really vital service for them young people and families. We were lucky enough to get out and about and visit them and speak to partners, speak to parents, and it was amazing just just the impact that it had, and why we're really excited to be able to significantly upscale it for summer. So following on from that video, just to give you a little taster of what we've delivered over that Easter. So again, like I said, restrictions were in place, so we had to scale back what we wanted to do. So we actually delivered 62 face-to-face clubs across Essex. Over the 8 days across the county, we provided 22,465 places in total, which meant that we were able to support 2,577 young people every day across the county. All of our sessions were inclusive. We provided training, and you'll hear a little bit more about that later, but we were really keen to ensure that all of our sessions were inclusive, and if a young person, no matter what their ability or what they had going on, was able to go to a local club and get that support. But actually what we also recognised is that some young people and some parents would prefer to send their young person to a local organisation that the young person's already aware of, or that actually maybe provides a slightly calmer environment. So Nikki, again, who you'll meet later, Nikki Smith, our lead for Send and Wellbeing, was able to work with a range of specialist partners, and we provided over 1,000 Send specialist places with smaller groups, specialist equipment and expert staff. And then in addition to this, and particularly after Easter, after lockdown, we felt that it was important to provide wellbeing hubs, because we knew not all young people would be ready to go out onto a basketball court and play sport with 60 other crazy children. So what we wanted to do was provide those calmer environments that were more supported, and with the option for young people to stay with their parents for a while if that was needed. And these went down really well, and it's something that we'll be looking to replicate in the future. In addition to this, we recognise that not everyone wants to or can access face-to-face clubs, so we provided 4,000 activity packs that were printed for young people and encouraged them to stay active at home. And it was also available for download for every young person, not just for young people involved in this programme. For Easter, in addition to this, we also provided over 10,000 family recipe packs that went out to families most in need. So they actually got the ingredients to 4 different healthy family meals, and we encouraged them to cook as a family. And again, that made up part of our nutritional education, and the feedback from that was great. We also took over the Keep Essex Active YouTube channel for the full 14 days of the Easter holidays and provided 54 sessions. And that was a range of physical activity, enrichment, wellbeing support, story time, rhyme time, educational and cooking. And in addition to all of this, we work really closely with our partners at the Youth Service, but I won't steal Alexa's thunder because she's going to talk a little bit more about that and how we're working with them. But they were able to deliver a phenomenal outreach programme to ensure that we could support secondary school aged children. And on that note, I think I'm going to hand over to my colleague Alexa, who is leading a lot of this work, and she's going to give you a bit more information. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Louise. I will be now, my name's Alexa. I work with Louise on the Sport for Development team for Active Essex. Some of you will know me from the Holiday Hunger programme that of course was delivered from October in 2020 and Louise delivered it in 2019 as well. So I'm coordinating this project, particularly focused on the summer. And I'm just gonna, I know Louise has touched on quite a lot of the content, but we do want to really make it clear our expectations, what this funding's for, and the support we're there to give you as well. So hopefully you'll get, I will talk a bit more in depth and hopefully you won't think it's too repetitive. As Louise said, this is Department for Education funding, and the bits that I'm going to talk about now is going to be primarily talking about the funding that is for those eligible for benefits-based free school meals. We are, I'm just waiting for the slide to go on. There we go. Our target audience is those free school meal families. We have done a lot of research with the Essex Insight team to create heat maps so that we know where these families are. You'll see there that there is a widespread across Essex of need for this programme. Essex actually has one of the higher needs in the country, so we have one of the biggest programmes to deliver in the country, which may be daunting for some, but we see it as a great opportunity to prove that we can get you guys involved and connect with our locally trusted organisations. So our locality officers have pulled this map apart, dug into the deeper pockets and identified in their localities where those areas of more need, where that provision needs to be focused. But as you will see, across the county, there isn't a single ward without a family with free school meals. So we really need to make sure that Easter programme, where we thought we'd done well by creating 22,000 spaces, is going to have to be supercharged. We want this to reach every area without prejudice. Every area will have provision of some kind. We've set ourselves maybe an ambitious target of making sure that every day we reach 30% of those young people eligible for benefit-based free school meals in those areas. Again, because we're looking at the area by area, that will fluctuate in terms of numbers per area, but we really need to make sure we're hitting in and around that 30%. It's a high number. We've got about 38,000 young people on free school meals in Essex. That number is growing month on month. So to hit about 30% daily throughout the summer holidays is going to be a tall order, but we will aim for that. When we're talking to you about who you're having on your activity sessions, we need to make sure that 85% of those engaged are free school meal families. Again, tall order, tall request, but it's something we believe is achievable. The other 15% will be those families who are vulnerable and identified by partners. So how are we going to reach them? We have a very targeted approach to recruitment. We always have. We work with schools, child and family wellbeing services, DWP, community partners, women's refuges, charities and food banks. Our locality officers are out there making connections, finding these referral partners day in, day out. We also have our Active Essex relationship management teams out there on the ground who have these relationships with these partners as well. We're working with the schools team and the education team here in Essex County Council, and we go out through Claire Kershaw's newsletter to schools, which we have it on good authority, is the newsletter that the heads of schools read, and they do what is redlined, as it's known. This is a redlined news piece in those newsletters. So schools will be getting all this information. Where are their local clubs? Where is that local support? How can they signpost the right families in need to these places? And as Louise said, there will be additional funding available coming to support those working families that some of you may have supported last summer. This isn't part of this fund, but and so this. I just need to make that really clear. This isn't for working families. This is for free school meal families. So how are we going to do it? As Louise said, three-pronged approach, three-pronged attack. We couldn't really figure out what to call it, a tripod approach. But we've got three main themes. We obviously have our Active Essex ActivAte clubs. These are we're going to take the bulk of the bookings, the bulk of the engagement. It's going to be a county-wide inclusive programme, primarily targeted at primary school age children, but not exclusively. So if you do already have secondary provision in your clubs, that's absolutely fine. Make sure you make a note of it in the expression of interest at the end to highlight it for us. But the majority of these clubs we anticipate will be primary age children. From feedback from other holiday activity programmes, we know that the primary age children are the ones that get on best at these clubs. They're the ones that engage, and they're the ones that get the most out of it. As Louise also said, there will be a mental health offer, a mental wellbeing offer, and a SEND offer. My colleague Nick will tell you about those later on. We have an outreach programme. This is working with our fantastic colleagues at the youth service. Again, the outreach programme is going to be engaging those more secondary age school children, again, primarily, but not exclusively. There will be young people out there who are unable to access a club or less likely to access a club who will be engaged through the outreach work. We won't be saying, oh, you can't come over here if you're not 13. But obviously we are targeting an older age range with outreach work. And there's a virtual offer as well. So for primary and secondary ages unable to attend a club, we will have the Active Essex YouTube channel, and my colleague Chloe will tell you more about that later on. So the outreach work then is led by, or has been led by, our fantastic colleagues at the youth service. They at Easter delivered 128 sessions across the county and engaged 2,135 young people in their work. Because this, like I say, has to be supersized now and supercharged, we are going to be bringing together anyone who has anything they can add to support, anyone who has expertise in dealing with this age range, anyone who has a venue, activities, maybe you have a food provision that's excellent out in an outreach environment, anyone who delivers education to teenagers, secondary school aged young people out there that may not fit within the club environment. We want to hear from you. We'll be pulling a meeting together to really focus on this. And like I say, I'm hoping Essex Youth Service will then take the lead in coordinating that outreach work. But we're really keen to see that as many different groups across Essex do engage with us for that, to support that. The ActivAte clubs then, as Louise said before, they will be taking the bulk of the engagement. We will be looking for 60 participants a day from our clubs, if you are able to provide that due to venue dependent. That figure, that 60, actually came from the COVID bubbles. So whereas up until now we've been delivering in bubbles of 15, so that worked nicely as 4 bubbles of 15. We appreciate that coming into the summer, that may not be a requirement anymore. We may no longer need to bubble in 15. Therefore, if your numbers can increase, decrease, you've got a much more specific target in mind. Again, write it in your expression of interest. That 60 is a ballpark. That's what we've based our target on. But absolutely appreciate that not everyone will be able to deliver 260, and some people might want to deliver much more than that. 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, 5 weeks of the summer holidays. This is what we need you to deliver. Physical activities every single day you need to be delivering. So 5 days a week, 5 weeks of the holidays, you'll need to come up with a physical activity for these young people to do. They should be varied. We cannot just have one sport focused. You might be a local tennis club saying we can deliver this in our club. That's fantastic, but it needs to be multi-sports. You can't just be delivering tennis. So, you know, be creative with your tennis courts, be creative with your space and your equipment, and make sure that it is a wider offer than just the one sport that you may normally, traditionally deliver. And the activities, please, should be inclusive. There is obviously the send offer, but we do also want to make sure that young people can attend a local club if they feel capable. Enriching activities. My colleague Emma is going to give you a lot more detail on this later on. We know traditionally our partners are more sports-based partners, physical activity partners, but we are starting to broaden our web, our network. If you are able to support enriching activities, you will need to support. If you want to run one of these clubs, you do need to make sure you are including one of these every day. Be it arts and crafts, bit of music, drama, could be bushcraft, you could go and explore some nature, gardening. There's a whole wide range of enriching activities out there. Like I say, my colleague will take you through more later on. We will be having a resource section on the Active Essex website. And at Easter particularly, our partners found our activity booklets really useful to help in supporting those enriching activities. Food and education and family support. So daily food education sessions also need to take place. So they're not just getting sport, they're not just getting sports and crafts, they are getting sports, crafts and food, and the food education. So what is good about the food that they're eating? It could be very informal, it could simply be taste tests or fun food games. It could also be gardening, it could be how food grows, it could be assisting in food prep. Campfires, I know some of our providers are good at doing campfires, and therefore, you know, that's a fantastic food education opportunity right there. So it's not a formal, sorry Laura, it's not a formal session, but it is something that needs to be included every day. One session a week as well for parents, carers or other family members to provide advice on how to source, prep and cook nutritious and low cost food. So this, I hope you can see, is starting to form a very well-rounded activity programme. This isn't your normal run-of-the-mill pop to the sports club, sign up for a week of multi-activity sports and head home again. We're looking to really provide enrichment into these young people's lives. We're hoping that these sessions can support the family as a whole, as a unit, and celebrate food, bring them together as a family through food. We can go on now. Thank you. So the food aspect, you need to provide a nutritious food. Every child will need to receive a school meal standard meal every day. We have said this needs to be hot, primarily because it's really hard to accommodate all of these food groups, all of these requirements in a packed lunch. If you cannot provide a hot meal, we are working with several partners to try and support those who can't get this. We've recently started having conversations with the school's catering team to look at how we can connect school catering teams with our clubs and hubs. It may be that we have one catering team supplying food for 4 or 5 local clubs. So we are there to support in this element, but again, make it really clear on your expression of interest what you can deliver. And there's links to the school food standards guidance on our website, so you know exactly what it is that's required. Insurances and policies. So again, we're here to support you. The Department of Education will be looking to do, well, have asked us to do checks on all our partners. So we will, if you say you've got your COVID risk assessments in place, we'll need to see them. We will require you to have employer and public liability insurance. Safeguarding and operating procedures need to be in place. Active Essex will support you in any safeguarding concerns. We also will provide some guidance. And again, there'll be a resource pack on our website for you to sort of tap into in and around that for more details. Photo permissions, you will need to make sure you have permission for not just yourself as a provider, but also Active Essex and Essex County Council to share any fantastic videos and photos that we take. Ofsted is not it's not an essential requirement. You don't have to be Ofsted registered to take part in this. We're not providing childcare. However, if you do have an Ofsted register, it puts you at a huge advantage. I believe Emma will be mentioning this a bit later on anyway. And we will be able to provide a bit of guidance around how you can advertise and what you can say about your activities if you are not Ofsted registered. Booking system. One of the many obstacles that our partners have come across whilst delivering these in the past has been the booking system. It came back again at feedback at Easter. Is there a centralised booking system we can use? Simple answer is we're working on it. We're working with Essex County Council and EOLA to pilot this new booking system for May half term. The system will be centralised and easy for both the customer and the provider to use. When I say it's centralised, the providers will still have full ownership of their own bookings. You will still need to set up your own dates, times. You'll be able to monitor your own bookings. You'll be able to edit any bookings and you'll be able to have that ownership. The site is mobile friendly. It'll integrate with websites. by simply putting a widget in. You can have just a button put in the corner, or you can go full on and have a button in the middle of the page. You could also just have a link if that's what you want on a Facebook page. Very, very easy to use. It will create registers. Again, really easy. When people turn up, you can see there and then if they've turned up, you can tick them off. You can then see what disclaimers they've signed, where their information is. It'll allow for any health forms to be, again, provider. You can create your own, put your own up there. We know and understand that each of these clubs will have different questions and answers they'll need from the families, and therefore those health forms will be personalised to your own business. We will, as Active Essex, be able to share overarching disclaimers and, as I said before, photo permission forms, etc. But you will absolutely have 100% control over that information that you gather from your families. We know that one of the hardest parts of reaching these families is sometimes brought up in the bookings. Online bookings is a struggle for some of these families. These booking sites allow for third-party bookings, which means if there is a social worker, if it's a teacher, whatever referral partner is trying to book on the family, they can do so without necessarily the family sitting down next to them. They can book on people. You can do third-party bookings. Active Essex will sort of be the overarching umbrella organisation in this booking system, with all our partners sort of sitting underneath us. This means we'll be able to track booking numbers live, we'll be able to collect data live, and we will work with EOLA to ensure that you are being supported, and we'll make sure that sign-ups are, we're being proactive about getting you signed up. We anticipate that if this booking system is up and running and we get good feedback in May half term, we will be live by July, which I'm sure some of our partners have said before is that gives us a good 4 weeks to get people booked on for these activities. Leads us into evaluation and monitoring. Majority of this will be able to be taken care of by the booking system. So people will as they book on, state whether they are a free school meal, eligible for free school meals or not. We'll need to know participating averages, how many percentages of your young people are free school meal eligible, how many days they're participating, percentage of primary school children versus secondary school children that have participated, the number of individual and unique children, again, that are participating, and a breakdown of participants' numbers, including age, gender, and ethnicity. We will provide you with templates to collect case studies and a good news stories. We'd expect one from every club. One over the course of 5 weeks, I think, is a very simple target for you. We'd look for you to be collecting a lot more than that where possible. And of course, you're working with these families on a day-to-day basis. So any anecdotal feedback you have, you have those conversations. Anything you get, collect it, share it with us. Some of those things are fantastic for us to share on social media, to shout about what a fantastic job you're doing. And Active Essex will provide feedback forms for partners and parents so that we can gather all this information back up at the end and hopefully tweak what will be a very successful programme. So that's the summer mainstream clubs from my point of view. I'm handing over now to Nick, who's going to talk to you a bit more about the mental health and SEND offer.
Thank you very much, Alexa. So, hi, my name is Nikki Smith and I'm the locality officer for the South. So I cover Brentwood, Basildon, Rochford and Castle Point. I'm also leading on sourcing and placing of special education needs and disability clubs, as well as mental wellbeing supported hubs. So the HAV programme is keen to be able to offer clubs for children with special education needs, and this accounts for approximately 8,000 of the 33,000 on free school meals. Easter saw a SEND club in each of the 12 districts, and in the summer we are keen to increase this offer. SEND clubs should offer the same criteria as those delivering the mainstream clubs, at least 4 hours a day, 5 days, with enrichment activities, physical activities and a nutritional meal. We do, however, appreciate that these clubs will need a higher ratio of coaches and support and less numbers of children to allow the best engagement. We are happy to work with short break providers and specialist schools on this delivery. We are also looking to provide mental wellbeing support hubs over the summer, with at least one hub in each of the 12 districts. We are aware that lockdown and the very public awareness of the devastation caused has left many children feeling fearful, anxious for their own families and their own wellbeing. Some children are worried about mixing and leaving the house, and others, the social interaction has become very unnatural. These clubs will be in transition back to society, small supported groups with calm and reassuring activities, exploring their emotions and for shorter periods of time. Parents will be invited to stay with these sessions if needed. We will also be encouraging each delivery site to have an inclusive ambassador and a mental wellbeing ambassador. These ambassadors should be accessible for both children and parents during the day in case they are needed. To help this initiative, we will be putting on free training sessions leading up to the summer. We'll invite one person from each delivery site to take part in the IAPS inclusive training course, and one person from each site to take part in the UK Coaching Mental Health Awareness for Sport course. And finally, as part of our virtual offer, the activity booklets and the dedicated YouTube channel will include a diverse range of fully inclusive classes and activities for every child to take part in. Thank you very much for your time. I look forward to working with you. I'm now going to pass you over to Emma.
Thank you, Nick. Hi everyone, I'm the West Essex Locality Officer for ActivAte, and I also look after the enrichment for the programme. I'm keen to ensure that every single club offers a real variety of activities, whether that be independently or through the collaboration with other partners. So just to be really clear, an enrichment activity can be any activity that promotes critical thinking, listening, memorisation, visualisation and concentration. These are delivered in a fun way, helping students become more engaged and retain as much information as possible. These activities often involve puzzles, physical education, games, singing, science experiments, art activities and more. As you can see on the slide, the list is really, really exhaustive. Next slide, please. Thank you. So when offering such a range of activities, please be mindful, as Alex mentioned, whether you are Ofsted registered or not. If you are, you're able to offer a multitude of subjects. However, if you're not, you have to ensure that you're delivering just two subjects within this. This is still required even when collaborating, as it's per venue and not per provider. But we will ensure to have this guidance on our website as well in our resources to make sure you're in line with that. For some attending today, enrichment-based activities are already embedded in your delivery and are the primary focus of what you do, but for others it may be that you're looking to input this into your programme, into your club in order to enhance, or vice versa. So some of you might be needing the physical activity and food nutrition side for their programme, or some might be needing the enrichment to make this an all-rounded club. So how could you possibly do this? There are many ways you can implement the enrichment into your programme, and you may wish to do this via different themes and deliver them in the following ways. So as you can see on the screen, you can use videos or streaming. It would be themed games, discussions and questions, exploration and creativity, challenges, interactive workshops in person and worksheets. I would also like to highlight that you're able to use our YouTube page that we have, where you can watch this and take part and share it within your sessions. If you'd like to feature on our YouTube channel, you can talk to myself in regards to enrichment, or speak to Chloe, who I'll be passed on to shortly. Perfect. So we encourage collaboration, and as mentioned, it may be that we pair you up with different providers to visit and support your clubs, or you may feel confident to deliver this element yourself. We are looking, as Alexa mentioned, to offer an online toolkit to support you all to draw upon and use within your sessions. This will be a collective of different resources listed in different subjects. If you're happy to contribute toward these, then please do get in contact. My email is on the slide, in order to feature on our toolkit as well. I will also finally like to highlight that we have our activity packs, which will be distributed to all clubs for participants to access, and we encourage you as deliverers to utilise these booklets as well as another way to cover your enrichment sessions. They are full of creative, cultural and nutritional activities and inspiration, so please do use those as much as you can. I'll hand you over now to my colleague Chloe, who will cover the activity booklets a bit more and also our virtual offer. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Hi, everyone. So my name's Chloe and I'm the locality officer for Mid Essex. So that includes Chelmsford, Malden and Braintree. And then I also lead on the virtual and remote offer for this programme. So I think we can all agree over the last year, we've seen a big shift into the virtual world and how it's managed to keep us all connected. And this is why we feel it's really important to provide this offer, especially for those who can't attend this session, that they're still able to access it at home and give it a go. Also another way for parents to use it as a resource for ideas and games for everyone to join in. With our virtual offer, we provide a variety of activities for all the families to get involved in, from family workouts, Pilates, karate, as well as age-specific activities with Key Stage 1, Key Stage 2 and above. We also have lots of videos with multi-skills, dance and yoga, and family cook-alongs with a chef, arts and crafts, such as like making a bag out of a t-shirt, wellbeing sessions, and many, many more. So how it works is, as you can see, the logo, we've got the Keep Essex Active YouTube channel that provides a range of home workouts to try. If you have not seen it, please do check it out. It's amazing. So just a little bit of background of how it all came about is the very first lockdown in March 2020, we set up the channel to allow instructors to continue their work virtually, but also to get everyone active at home. We currently have 1.88k subscribers with over 414 videos, and we're looking to keep building up those numbers. So in the holidays, we do an ActivAte takeover, which you can see on the logo there with our logo during the holidays, and we create a timetable that's shared on our website and in our activity books, which has created a playlist on their YouTube channel. So for example, a playlist you might have Tuesday the 27th of April, and 9 o'clock we've got yoga, 12 o'clock we've got dance, and 5 we've got a cooking along session. These are played on our YouTube channel, which are used from these times on our timetable, and then they are uploaded once the time is on the session, and then the videos are all accessible at any time of the day. Alongside another resources to have, as mentioned previously, is the activity packs. So we offer these for children that come along to the camps and also provide a PDF copy on our website for anyone to access. These provide lots of ideas through physical activity, food, well-being, enrichment, and many more. We try our best that our videos reflect in the activity books and in our camps to make them more inclusive. And we all work together as a team to ensure that all those elements are included in the packs. So an example that we did in Easter, for the first time we did some challenge videos, and each day we had a different challenge. And also in our activity book, we had a little tick sheet that the children could tick off if they completed it. And then we also asked our providers at the Easter camps if they had a spare 10 minutes to try and have a go at the one of the challenges. So it's all trying to work all together as a team. So how can you get involved? If you're sitting there thinking this is something you can definitely help with, providing videos or any ideas, any worksheets to go with the activity packs, whether that's physical activity, enrichment, and any others that we've listed above, please give me an email. I think my email is down below. Also, please do check our YouTube channel just to see what videos we have got already and if there's something else that you can offer, or whether you've got any other ideas that we can do for the remote offer that we'd love to explore. So yeah, I'm now going to hand you over to either Suzanne or Louise. I know Suzanne's having a little bit trouble with her Wi-Fi, so it might be Suzanne or Louise, but yeah, thank you.
Welcome everybody, I'm Suzanne. I'm the locality lead for the North area, which is Colchester and Tendring, and I also cover the child and family elements. So I'm going to talk to you about the child and family element and what that means and what we're looking for within the summer programme. As I've said here, our aim is to not only just provide a summer programme for children and young people, but also be creative and consider how we can engage with parents and carers as secondary recipients of the support that we offer. Our aim is to increase a family's knowledge, skills and understanding on how being healthy and active could help to improve their emotional and physical well-being, but also leave that legacy beyond the summer programme. Well, you're wondering how this can be achieved this year. What we're looking to do is working with your locality leads. We're going to work closely with our providers to connect them to their local organisations, those charity organisations, statutory, community and voluntary groups. We want those organisations to work with those providers to look at how they can provide the information, advice, support and signposting at their sessions, whether that be catching the parents in the morning when they're dropping children off or in the afternoon, or actually having specific sessions where they're getting people together and offering them informal chats or formal courses and workshops. We're particularly looking to engage with food providers, food banks and other groups who can offer cooking and food nutrition advice and support, along with organisations that can also advise and guide parents on a range of concerns and issues affecting their family life, including housing, benefit, debt management, and child development, and also cooking and nutrition as well. Where possible, if providers are using a venue with an additional room that can be used for workshops and courses, we're looking to engage with adult community learning and other learning providers for workshops for parents. Those can be cooking workshops, parenting workshops, or a range of different workshops, including employment skills workshops as well. And a big part of this year will be volunteering. Now, within the volunteering programme, we also have our own ActivAte volunteering, be part of something special, and I've got the information link there and it'll be sent out to you later. But what we're looking to do is work with providers and connect them with volunteers if they don't already have their own. We've already seen volunteers and the benefits of having volunteers within the sessions and how it enhances the provision that's available for the children. And what we want to do this year is ensure that where possible, we're engaging you with your nearest volunteer community organisation and looking how we can connect you together to ensure that we can enhance your session and programme. But whatever it is you're looking for, I'm here to work with you and the rest of the locality leads to ensure that we're offering a family element this year as well. So just get in touch and let us know what you need. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand you over to Laura, who's going to talk about the rest of the programme in marketing.
Okay, it's not loading on my end, but I'm not sure if you guys can see it. Just to introduce myself, I'm Laura, I'm Marketing and Communications Officer. And I'm just going to talk through the branding and how we can go about communicating our message. So first and foremost, when it finally loads, you should be using this logo wherever you can across all your marketing and communications. I understand that everybody, well, quite a lot of people already have clubs and holiday things up and running and they're amazing, but we need to make sure that this is recognized as something a bit different and that families know that this is free support for benefits-based free school meals children. So if you could use this logo on any comms materials that you create, that would be amazing. Next, you'll probably see a lot of these logos on most of our materials. We need to include them again, where possible in any materials that you create. So just making sure you include the Essex County Council, the Active Essex and the Department for Education logo wherever you can. If you're tight on space, I understand if it's a social media post, but definitely if you're making any posters or flyers or that kind of thing, try and get those on there. Our colours are green, purple and navy. I won't go into too much detail at the moment because there's all sorts of codes that you might need if you are designing your own things, but I will be sending out a comms pack with all of that information in, so you'll have everything that you need. Whenever you're posting on social media, we ask that you could please use the hashtag EssexActivate for everything. This is so that we can find your content and share it, so that families can use the same hashtag so we can see what everyone's up to and really get a bit of a buzz going online. The official hashtag for the HAF program is HAF 2021. So if you have enough characters, please try and use this as well, so that it will have a wider reach. We understand that that you all probably have a lot of families that you'd love to tell about what's up and coming, but we do just ask you could hold off a little bit. We are expecting everything to go live between mid to end of June, maybe early July, but we would like to make this kind of one big announcement. So if you could hold off on telling anyone, and then we will be sending out a flyer. I'll be sending out templates for social media posts. I'll be creating video. We'll have the booking links live, and we can make it one big thing, everyone sharing it at the same time. And finally, I know the others touched on content for our activity pack. I just wanted to mention that because of our branding and the colours and the fonts and everything that I need to use, I will have to redesign anything that I get sent. So we would absolutely love any resources, and it's a great chance for us to signpost to other things you might have online, or any activity days, any free parks or days out for families is amazing. But I'm very happy with the Word document because I'm going to need to redesign it anyway. So yeah, thank you very much. I'll now pass over to Alexa, who's just going to run over a quick summary of the programme.
Thanks, Laura. So yes, as you can see, hopefully you'll now have a much broader idea of what the Essex ActivAte programme is, the approach we're taking, and the target audience that we need to engage. This is a very easy, simple page at the end here. We will be happy to share this with you. We will be sharing this these entire slides with you and this entire webinar. But if you have any partners that may not be engaged, this is a quick summary as to tell them, actually, this is what you could be part of. Like you say, taking part in this programme will increase your role as an integral part of your community. You could have a profound impact on the lives of children in your local community, and you will help to keep them active in body and in mind. It is valuable support for families in need, and we've seen this need increase over the year substantially. So we do want to just say that, you know, we really appreciate any organisation stepping up and saying, yes, I want to be involved, no matter what that involvement looks like, big or small. Equally, volunteers, if you know any volunteers that may be interested as well, please also signpost them this way. So, like I say, you should now have a clearer understanding of what the programme is. I'm going to pass on to Louise to tell you a bit about the next steps, and then we'll go into question and answers. I can see some of you have asked questions, so we will get to answering those in a moment.
Lovely, thank you, Alexa, and thank you to the Essex ActivAte teams. The first time we've all done a big presentation together, and it makes it even more harder because we're all virtual, but they've done an amazing job, and hopefully you've got all of the information you need. That means that you can make the decision whether you are in the position to, or if you want to be part of this exciting Essex ActivAte project. And like Alexa said, we appreciate that we've given a hell of a lot of information to you in the last hour. And so tomorrow afternoon, you'll get sent the link to our website that includes this presentation, all the links that we've spoken about volunteering, about the Keeping Essex Active YouTube channel, some marketing information, the school food standards, but also this will also be the place in the future where you find those resources around enrichment and food, and how can we deliver this part of the programme. That will all be on there. What will also come out to you tomorrow is a link for the online application expression of interest to be part of this programme. We've tried to make it really simple, and we know that a number of you may have already completed it in the past when we first launched before Easter. However, because we have changed the way we're working a little bit, it's really important that every single person and every single organisation does complete that. So that will open tomorrow and go live. We'll share the link for you, but please also share it with other partners. It's absolutely fine. This recording will also be on the website in case you want to go back and check anything or just listen to our dulcet tones again. It will be there for you to view as and when you need. There will be an option for you to say you want to be a partner on all of the programme. You've got everything in place ready to deliver an Essex ActivAte club in its whole entirety, or maybe you're just interested in one element of the programme, and that's absolutely fine. You still need to complete the application form so that we're aware and we can start forming those networks across the county and in locations to ensure that we really have that rounded offer for the young people and those families. The expression of interest will then be open until Friday, the 7th of May, when we will then have time as a team and the locality officers We'll then have the opportunity to have further conversations with partners who have submitted it, to ask questions, to really get a bit more detail about what you can and can't deliver. And then we will look to get everything confirmed by the start of June. So by the start of June, you should know if you're going to be part of this programme for the summer. We will then put training in place, and we know you're the experts. We don't mean training as in how to deliver a physical activity and holiday activity club, but actually we just need to ensure that everyone is able to deliver inclusive clubs, is able to provide that wellbeing support. And so we have a range of free training opportunities for all partners who are involved. So hopefully you feel that's something that you want to get involved in. The locality officer is then there as your resource. We'll pull together local networks to make sure you've got everything in place. Join you up with other local clubs, bring in family support should that be needed. We really want to make sure that you're part of the Essex ActivAte family and you've got that support in place. This isn't an Essex County Council Department for Education project. This is for the families and young people of Essex, and we want to really ensure that it's a real partnership approach that we're taking. We also have been putting together bi-weekly newsletters. So by all means, there's the option when you're completing your application to click that you're happy to receive that. And so please do. And then we'll make sure you're kept up to date with progress, with the booking system. We'll have different features around what does it mean to be enrichment, and go from there, really. I think we're now ready. I can see that there's some questions in the bottom. My colleague Chloe has been pulling them together so that we can answer them. Chloe, are there any questions that through that we can start to look to answering, please?
Yeah, sure. So I guess a couple of questions around the activity booklets. So whether are they the same each time, or are they different information each time? What is the deadline for this information?
Okay, brilliant. Okay, yeah, so they won't be the same every time. So we created something for Easter, a 24-page booklet that had a range of different activities and support packages in place and ideas for them to get active as a family. And it will be based on the same type of thing. We'll take the same format. However, we will make sure that there's always a different type of activity and the book will be different. We know that, or actually it's key that we're engaging the same young people in each holiday because they're the young people that need that support. And so, yeah, we will make sure we do that and also take feedback from the young people and families into consideration. So we did a feedback form for Easter and we know they went down really well, but there was some suggestions which we absolutely take on board. And we're always really keen. Like I said, this is a real partnership. And we're keen, if anyone has any ideas, that we feed that in. If anyone's got some really good activities or information that will support these young people, let's do that.
I might just add on to that quickly that I will be designing the packs. We don't have a set deadline yet, so I'm just going to kind of guess here, but I would say that based on the quantities we'll be printing, I probably need materials by the maybe early to mid-June. The sooner you can get them in, send them over to Emma if possible, or Chloe. The sooner the better. Maybe even some could be included in May if you already had them available. But yeah, I'd definitely say aim for maybe the start of June to get materials over to us. Thanks.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you. We've got another question. Do you welcome joint applications, so from two different companies joining forces?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And like I say, if there's organisations who can only provide certain aspects, we'll join you up with other partners anyway. But yeah, if it needs 5 partners to work together in one club to provide what we are asking for, then absolutely.
Someone has asked, how do we make sure we access to the partnership hub?
So it's just on our website. It'll be a page on our website, so we will share the link from tomorrow.
Are we expecting different children each day or each week?
No, not necessarily. We do realise that when we're running 5 days a week for 5 weeks, that young people are not going to want to come to every single session, and that's absolutely fine. We do need to give parents the option to book on days, not weeks. In the past, we have had week bookings because of the COVID bubbles. Hopefully that won't be in place for summer, and it could be that a family could book their 3 children on every Tuesday and Thursday if they wanted, or every other Friday. So that's absolutely fine.
Just a question around the centralised booking system. Is it required that they have to use it, that we all have to use it? And how do we individuals can be booked into the system?
Yeah, so I think I might hand over to Alexa on that. We're really keen that we have this centralised booking system to make it easy for partners and for parents, and also so we have that monitoring in place, and it's what other counties are doing across the country as well. So we didn't put it in place for Easter because we wanted to sit back and learn, I guess, what was happening and what was working well and what wasn't working well in the rest of the country. But we are keen to get it in place. But what we will do is we will have a bit more information, and you won't just be told you need to upload your club now. You will have training, you will have onboarding sessions, and any questions Alexa will be able to answer a little bit more on that.
Yeah, I think you just covered it all, Louise.
Sorry.
Is there another part of that question I need to answer? Yes, it is an easy to use booking system. I can say, having used it myself, it is pretty easy to use. Each provider will be able to tailor the bookings so that it absolutely represents what they are offering. It won't be a one-size-fits-all offer. It is a very flexible booking system in that sense. It was actually designed for the use in outdoor activity world. So, you know, it's all about that flexibility of bookings, session bookings. There is, which is rare on booking systems, the basket function, which will allow parents, as Louise said, to be able to book on 2 days in one go, or 2 days for every week. So they might have 8 separate bookings, but it'll all be in one basket, and they'll be able to do all of the information in one place, in one time. We've put a lot of research into this booking system at the moment, and it will be a requirement that everyone will be signed up to it. But there'll be a lot of support around that. We'll have more of these interactive, well, probably more interactive than this, sessions to really make sure you've got the training before you then go and have a go at creating your own bookings yourself. And then there is the support team at Eola, who will then be there to sort of handhold you through that process should anything go wrong.
Brilliant, thank you. Any other key questions? I can see there's more coming in, Chloe.
Yes, I've just one more from the Q&A box. Just, are we expected to recruit the young people, or are they referred to the clubs?
So a bit of both, really. I think Alexa covered how we will try and reach those families, but what we're hoping to do is work with those local organisations who are already embedded in that community, have links with those families, and that doesn't have to be the case, because we know you may work really well in one area and want to replicate in others, and that's fine, but we would also expect to be working with that locally trusted organisation, the delivery partner, in order to reach out to schools, local organisations, get it out on social media, leaflets. We'll also work with parish councils to get out a newsletter. So we'll do all we can, but we do expect partners to be involved in that process as well. And I can see that there is some questions about funding coming in, to understand the funding. So I can't give you this is what we will pay per day, per session, per head, because actually we know that it's dependent on what that offer is, how many young people you're working with, the type of venue you have to use, if you're delivering a specialist service, if it's a rural location and you will have less young people, if you have to provide transport, so it's completely different. What I will say is, though, this is public money, this is from the Department for Education, and we will be held accountable as to how we're spending it. So what we have to do is ensure that we're providing value for money. Actually, we can show the difference we're making. at the same time, we don't want people to obviously run at a loss. That isn't what this is about. This isn't about trying to get the cheapest service we can, but we do have to show, obviously, how many young people we can support with this funding. And when you look at what our targets are, there's over 35,000 young people on benefits-based free school meals. That's a lot of funding we need to get out there and to try and provide it. So, but there is a question on the expression of interests where you say what your capacity is, how many young people you can work with a day, where you'll deliver it, do you already have a venue, how many staff, what's your ratio, and then also to provide an estimate. And again, that's why the locality officers will pick up the conversations before any decisions will be made. It won't just be made off your expression of interest. And you'll have the option to then, or you will be asked to provide an estimate of your daily cost in order to deliver all of that. So hopefully that helps. I can see again, there's a question about Thurrock and Southend. So we're working really closely with Thurrock. So actually on the expression of interest, you'll have that opportunity to put in Thurrock as well. And we'll work closely with Thurrock Council. Southend is being managed by Southend Council, and Carol and Kirsty are great, and we're working closely with them, but they have their own expression of interest system. But if whoever's asked that, if you drop us an email or respond to the email tomorrow, so you've got our email, we'll put you in touch with them. I'm sorry, I'm just working, I've made you redundant, Chloe, haven't I? Because I'm working my way through the questions. I can see about hot food. Hopefully that's been answered now. We're really keen that it is hot food, but we do understand this might not always be possible every day, but the Department for Education are clear that that's really key, that we can provide similar options to what the young people would get at a school.
Louise, there's a question around SEND clubs. Do they need to meet the same criteria with numbers in particular?
No, not at all. And I think Nikki mentioned it, that we will work with that partner in terms of, and we understand ratios. So for instance, I think at Easter, obviously it was a scaled back option. We had 10 to 15 young people at a SEND club, but it would depend on how many staff you've got, how big your venue is, what equipment you've got, what the insurance says. So, and that just gives us a really good idea. If there's a small organisation who can only deliver for 8 young people, that's fine. It's on the expression of interest. We then know that we need to bring in another partner who can also deliver additional numbers. So please don't worry, and please just make sure you're realistic and get that information on the expression of interest application form. So just ignore the silence, we're just looking through.
There's a question, Louise, about Essex ActivAte children mixing with other young people in these clubs. Don't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and we encourage it. And we know that lots of clubs will already have holiday activity clubs in place. And they sell those places, and that's absolutely fine. We want these to be inclusive. We don't want there to be a stigma around these clubs, that it's just for young people who can't afford to pay to go to a holiday activity club themselves. So absolutely, we encourage the fact that there will be a range of young people who are on benefits-based free school meals. We'll also obviously be funding some working families that are struggling financially, and hopefully there will be well, not hopefully, there may also be some paid places, and absolutely, let's mix them up. We're not expecting you to keep these separate at all. I can just see a question about the expression of interest of the volunteers. No, there's a separate link for that, and that link was in the presentation, but we'll make sure that you have it in the email tomorrow. So someone's asked about Havering. So we are particularly looking for clubs to take place for the Essex County Council clubs, obviously in the 12 local authority areas. So that wouldn't be Havering. However, Havering will have their own holiday activity programme that I believe might be delivered by an early years team, Essex early years team in Havering. Because we need to make sure that these are local and accessible to young people, and we're targeting young people from Essex County Council local authority areas. I'm sorry, I'm just working my way through some of the questions.
Louise, whilst we're looking for the next question, if you're happy for me just to mention that we work closely with Frontline, who help us to support and share the promotion for ActivAte. So all of our clubs, once they are ready and in place, they will be shared and regularly updated on the Frontline app. So all schools and the various providers use this as a signposting service. So please do look out on there for that as well. Yeah,
no, absolutely. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. So there's a question about how funding will be distributed in an area that may have more than one provider. There absolutely will always be more than one provider in an area, and you can see from the presentation the free school meals hotspot areas. We want to make sure that, so if you look at in a location like Basildon, for instance, the Lee Chapel area has 1,000 young people eligible for benefits-based free school meals. Now, one club is not going to service all those young people. We're not going to try and reach all of those young people, but we do know we need different types of clubs to try and make sure there's an offer for a high percentage of those young people. So we will just look, so we will be, I don't want to say marking, we will be grading and rag rating each of the expressions of interest. Hopefully we will be able to work with most people who put in that expression of interest, as long as it's within our budget and delivering what we're asking to deliver. But it might be that there absolutely will be more than one provider working in an area, and we'll encourage them to work together as well, not in competition. And we'll do that for bringing, the locality officers will bring networks together. Someone's asking about the paid places. So I think Alexa can come in here. How would it work with the bookings? Would you keep these separate to the central database? Would the provider need organisations to organise this separately?
So their booking system will allow you to take those bookings and collect payments if that's the way you want to work it. Obviously, if you have your own booking systems in place, you may choose to stick to what you know. But absolutely, if you want to make sure this looks very much hand in hand, then you can simply offer a certain number at a paid places, and you could have either a separate link for it, or so that you can direct people one way or another, or you can sit it hand in hand and rely on trust.
Brilliant, thank you. Nikki Smith, there's a question about what is the minimum amount of hours and children that mental health support hubs have to cover per week?
Well, we decided that these would be shorter times and less sessions, just because it's an integration process and getting the children back into society gradually. So we've been working on about 2.5 hours twice a week, which seems to have worked quite well, especially if the parents are having to stay with the children. But this seems like a good time, and then they're really looking forward to coming back for that second session. So again, it's up to each individual delivery partner, but just from Easter, that did work well.
Lovely, thank you. And just looking at some of the other questions, is there the option for them to choose their lunch on the booking system? Alexa, are you able to answer that?
Yeah, absolutely. So depending on what questions you want to put on there, you might want them to be able to pick their lunches. You might just want them to put some allergy information on there and write and make a more generic lunch. But yeah, the booking system will allow you to ask any questions in advance and have the answers on booking, as it were, as you'd like.
Brilliant, thank you. There is another question about email addresses. So all of our email addresses are within the presentation, and you'll get sent that tomorrow, so you'll have access to those.
And there's a question about running 2 sessions a day, Louise. So 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the afternoon. It's going to be a long 5 weeks for whoever wants to do that, but absolutely not a problem if that's the way you would, if you can structure your day to be 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the afternoon. It is about that getting the meal in though, so do be mindful that, you know, if you're trying to squeeze a session in the morning, they are still having that time to have that really good nutritious lunch. And again, if they're turning up at 1 o'clock, or 2 o'clock? Is that too late for them to have the lunch? Are you then doing it more as dinner, as long as that meal is there?
Brilliant. There is another question from first side, but I'm wondering whether it might be easy for you, because if they've got a specific booking session, it might be easy for you to pick the conversation up, because it's asking specific questions about what it can do around and linking in. So Alexa, you're okay to pick that up with first side?
Yes, no worries.
Lovely. Hope that's okay, Sue. And I think that might be, unless I've missed anything, any of the team have seen some other questions, I think that might be all of the questions. So hopefully we've been quite clear, but we'll get this information out to you. There'll be more detailed information in the guidance and just some links for you to around Ofsted. Okay, so on to the next slide then, please, Laura. If there is no more questions, then all that's left for us to say really is just a massive thank you for coming along to find out a bit more about this programme and what we're aiming to do over the summer. And hopefully you've made the decision that you want to be part of this programme, and we're really looking forward to broadening our network and working more closely and alongside a wide range of different partners. And we're looking forward to working with you in the near future. If there are any further questions, you can, from today, stick them down to the admin. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter, the Essex ActivAte, and share things with us and keep that stored. But thank you for joining us, and we will be in touch soon. See you later. Bye.